Attention please. This upload is only for educational purpose. No intention to infringe copyrights. Learning English with subtitles. GPITRAL. GPITRAL. Definitely a must-see. Follow us.
In the summer of 2010, Curtis Merworth and two friends hiked into the Superstition Mountains in search of the lost Dutchman's gold. Hiking these desolate badlands is difficult any time. But Curtis was taking on the superstitions, a place darkened with a dangerous curse.
The superstitions just have all kinds of different stories and lore about the things that have happened to people out here. And many people have even been decapitated out here while they're out here hunting for this treasure.
I told him, please don't go, we need you, I'll never see you again. And he just went on, ignored me.
Armed with a map given to them by a Native American elder, the men planned on 3 days to find the gold.
The spirits try to guide you off the trail when you're trying to find things. Confuse you. They don't want you to find their gold.
The men trudged through the unforgiving landscape with rucksacks on their back and sipping on water.
Curtis and his friends were prepared for the journey, carrying supplies, water, and food. But even for seasoned prospectors, these mountains are a challenge.
Water holes are basically non-existent in the area. There may be some water way in, but you have to carry all your water.
You know, you step on one rock wrong, and you can end up 100 feet down in a canyon. One step wrong, and the rattlesnake that doesn't rattle. The Badlands is a good name for the Superstition Mountain area. Things can go wrong within a matter of a minute.
He's gonna go for 3 days and come back. And he didn't come back, so I knew something was the matter.
Carol's dark visions began again.
In my vision, he feels bad because he can't find his way back. I could see him, and I could see him yelling, help, help me. They were lost, and he was crying and stressing me out.
The police start a rescue operation. A helicopter flies over the Badlands.
After several days, Carol notified the search and rescue team.
The searchers went out with planes, with dogs, even on horseback, and there were volunteers that went out on foot. A lot of times they had to go out at night because of the heat, but they could not find the lost hikers.
Days turned into 6 long months with no news.
I almost had a nervous breakdown, and it's hard when people go missing and you don't know what's happened to them.
A photo of Curtis with his daughter sitting on his lap in a truck.
In January of 2011, longtime prospector Rick Gwynn ventured into the Superstitions on his own attempt to find the Dutchman's mine.
I need to have my hip replaced, so I went out for a last hike and by myself just to enjoy the mountains. About halfway up the hill, and I figured I'm just turning around and I'm going back because my hip wouldn't allow me to go any further. And I turned to the right, and I could not believe what I saw. I mean, I was just like, whoa.
Rick comes across the skeleton. He takes photos of the remains.
There I saw the remains of a gentleman by the way he was dressed. And about 60 feet down from him was another skeletal remains.
Rick had found the bodies of the hikers that accompanied Curtis Merworth. Given the terrain and temperatures, it was no surprise they turned up dead. But the condition of the bodies raised suspicions about the mountain's evil curse.
When I got to looking around, it just didn't add up. They had their lantern on, so apparently whatever happened to them, they were there at nighttime when it happened. the light was left on whenever they met their demise.
An image of a ghost swooping over the dead men's bodies.
There were 2 holes in the back of a gentleman's head, which is just not normal. Most people don't have those there. Skeletal remains of a gentleman had one of his rib bones sticking out the front of his shirt. It looked as though his ribs in the back had been blown in, actually, is what it was. I just don't feel that they passed away over natural causes. I feel as though maybe they did have some curse or something following them.
Rick was anxious to head back and alert the authorities, but that plan suddenly went awry.
It was unbelievable. It was like somebody was holding me there. The curse almost got me.
Like many treasure seekers before, Curtis Merworth and 2 friends trekked into the Superstition Mountains, lured by legends of gold. And just like dozens before, they disappeared. It might have stayed that way if not for Rick Gwynn, a prospector who managed to find the bodies.
The sun sets over the Badlands. Rick uses a flashlight to guide him across the inhospitable terrain.
I knew of a cave nearby there, and I headed down to the cave to spend the evening. I really didn't feel comfortable there. I really felt as though there was somebody watching me.
Rick sets up camp for the night. Stars glisten in the dark night sky. Night becomes day. Rick puts on his backpack as he prepares to head out of the cave.
I was ready to get the hell out of there that morning, for sure. I don't know why I felt so bad, as bad as I did. There was something else that just made me feel really, really strange and bad out there. And I don't normally ever get that way in the mountains, you know, at all. But that place just seemed to be really eerie.
Later that day, Carol Merworth gets the news that 2 bodies had been found, but not her son Curtis.
I thought they'd be together. But when they didn't find him, then I got really upset. Because I thought, oh, where did he go?
2 weeks more, and 6 long months since Curtis left, the sad news finally arrived.
They found Curtis about a half a mile from the other bodies.
His remains were broken and scattered.
His bones, his legs, and that was scattered 3 miles away in different pieces. I feel like the spirits tore my son up, and it's also a warning to other people not to go up there to Superstition Mountain, because this is what could happen to them. I feel like the curse killed my son.
If there is a curse, it still had not yet claimed its final victim.
The Indian gentleman that gave them the map, it's kind of strange that he would die also at the very same time that these gentlemen disappeared. He supposedly fell into one of the viaducts in town and it crushed his skull. I think that it might have been connected to the curse. The reason being is I don't think he was supposed to tell anybody about where the Indians hold these treasures buried out here.
4 people died going to Superstition Mountain because it's cursed. That's why all 4 of them died, including my son.
Carol lights a candle for her beloved son.
When you're out in the Badlands, there is a strange quality to it. There's always the possibility somehow that you might encounter something strange.
there are absolutely entities out here. It's like there's something always watching you. Who they are, I really can't answer. And it gets really bad here fast.
The end.